shoot with a Canon 6D. To be honest with you, when I first started my business, I started on a Canon 10D, and yeah, it was a first generation DSLR, and I shot with that until about 5 years ago. So at least 3 years when I started my business. And so you don't have to have the latest and greatest equipment to start your business and to start making money. If you have a good eye, yes, okay, the latest and greatest has better like resolution and all of that, but you can still start with, you know, not the latest and greatest, if you will. And like I said, for boudoir, I shoot with a 50mm. Some people shoot with an 85, and some do 35. You have to be really careful if you're going to shoot with a 35mm, because if you get too close, you're going to start to distort their features. I would say the 35 is really good in a tight space if you're going to do like full length shots, whether they're standing or they're laying down and you're kind of back away from them and getting a whole full body length shot, then that's good. But if you're going to get up close, like we're going to do here in a second, with your 50, you won't get that distortion. So you have to be real careful with that. Creating a secret Pinterest board where they can kind of pin some stuff and I can kind of game plan for the shoot, but we'll try a couple of poses off of there if they have something that I've never done before. I just warn them that Pinterest poses are quite interesting sometimes, especially if it's a model who is 6 foot tall or, 5'8" and has really long limbs. Sometimes the poses that they can do are, I have no idea how they get into them, and they're not for the everyday woman. So we'll try them, but they don't always necessarily work. So but what I love about these top 20 poses is they literally work for every body type, and we create triangles and narrowing points so that it flatters every single woman. I have a prep guide. Some of you may have it, some of you may not, but having your model come or your client come prepped for the shoot is really, really important. Not only does it help them feel more confident when they're coming in that they know what they needed to do before coming, but it also helps you with editing time. When you have your clients clean up their eyebrows, make sure they're removing any unwanted hair, making sure they touch up their roots. Because, I mean, the worst thing is a client can't get in, doesn't remember to touch up her roots, and then she's like, hey, can you Photoshop that? Possibly, but it's definitely a lot more work for you. So just making sure that you remind them how to prep for their shoot. Send them a copy after they book their shoot so that they can go through and they can, basically remember what it was. Because a lot of times clients will book 3 months out in advance and then they'll forget what we talked about in the consultation. So for the first pose, I always start with feet up the headboard because it's usually the easiest pose for a client. They can be really, really relaxed. They don't have to look directly at the camera. So they're usually typically nervous. Even if they're excited, they're going to have a little bit of nerves. So this is a great one. I always start every shoot with it. So we're going to have you put your booty like right here as close to the headboard as possible and then back that way. And the closer you can get your booty to the headboard, the longer your legs will look. And the longer your legs look, then the thinner you look. Yay.
That's always good.
Yeah. So I spend forever fluffing hair. You guys, it's like one of the things. Okay, this hand's going to come up right here. And then the other hand's going to come up right about here. And I have them turn their wrist in like this, like as if they're kind of like holding their hair. And typically if they're a bride or they're doing it as a gift, they're going to have a wedding ring on this left hand. And so I always put that there so that you can see it. Yep, this leg straight, toes pointed, this knee in. Fix panties. So anytime you guys can create narrowing points, so triangles, you can kind of see by bringing this knee in, we're creating a triangle and it creates a narrowing point. And not only is that great composition for the eye, but also it's so you can see we have a triangle here, a triangle there, and a triangle here. So do your feet straight. So you guys can kind of see how that looks and then go back and how it creates like that narrowing point. So next I'm going to have you lift your head, your chin, yep, as high as possible. Very awkward. You're going to tilt your face towards me. Yep, right there. Eyes are going to go down, mouth open just enough to breathe. Perfect. And I usually have them face towards the light. So my lighting source is actually the windows over here. So I'm going to have her tilt her face that way so the light illuminates her face. Relax those fingers down a little bit. Perfect. Chin up just a tad more. Yep, and then eyes down. Gorgeous. So my settings right now are at ISO 1000, 200 shutter speed, and 3.5 aperture. I don't go any lower than 3.2. I would much rather have a higher ISO because I lose too much detail. I like very sharp images based on whatever I am focusing on, and typically I will focus on the eyelash. If they're looking down, if they're looking at me, it will always be the eye. And then obviously if it's a butt shot, I will focus on their panties and we'll kind of go over that. But I just wanted to let you guys know what I'm shooting at. And I also shoot, I would say like 5 to 10 shots of each pose, and I do it from different angles. And the reason I do this is because if I'm moving a little bit or the client's moving a little bit, when you shoot with natural light, it's really easy to kind of like get movement in the shot. And if you want it to be really, really sharp, sometimes it's like 1 out of 10 that I get is sharp. So you'll see that I click a lot. So white balance, my nemesis. I actually am on auto. It changes so often from lighting to lighting, and I probably should have like a reader and change my balance, but when I'm in the mode of shooting, I just don't take the time to stop and check it with natural light. So I do that post. I go in and post and I'll adjust the white balance setting in Lightroom as my initial edit. So I want you guys to know, like, oh my gosh, I can't look at my iPad and look at poses during my shoot. My client's gonna think I'm not professional or I don't know what I'm doing. I use my iPad every shoot. And how I kind of get away with it is I typically am like, I have a pose flow. I create a secret Pinterest board and create a pose flow, or I'll use my top 20 pose guide. And basically I show the client what we're gonna do because it helps them feel a lot more comfortable if they can see. I'm a visual learner and a lot of clients are visual learners. So if they can see what they're about to attempt, what pose they're gonna try, it doesn't have to look perfect, but at least they have an idea and they can help you a little bit. And it helps them feel a little bit more confident versus they're just like, okay, do this, do that. And they're just feeling very like stiff because they don't know how they're supposed to look. So actually, can you go back into that pose? Because the second one is exactly where you're at. So this would be an example of an easy pose flow where she's in the position, and I'll just redo you really quick. Reposition your hair and everything. She has her feet at the headboard. Yep, chin up, arm here. This one comes up right here. And this one can even just. So she's here, and then what I'm gonna do, your chin's up. And the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm literally just gonna go and move her hand, and it's gonna be real soft, like right here. You don't want it flat and like that, you just want it real soft. So it looks natural. And then I'm gonna lift your head. We're gonna kind of move some of the hair over. Okay, and down. And then you're gonna tilt your face towards the bed. And then pose 2, you're gonna lean this knee across just a little bit more. If you have their eyes closed, they look like they're asleep or dead. Versus if their eyes are just down, then there's still a little bit of space, so it doesn't look like they're fully asleep. It just looks like kind of just looking down versus asleep or not alive. And then what I'll have you do is look up at me. Relax the eyebrows. Just eyes. Perfect. And then I want you to do a little bit of a smirk. So it's mouth closed. Yep, exactly just like that. Just barely lifting the edges of her mouth. Relax those eyebrows. So what's really great if your client's starting to, if you're taking time to change your settings and your client starts to get that kind of like stare at you, just have them reset their face. Have them look down, relax the face. Right here, and you're gonna be on your left side. So this hand's gonna come around. And so this is really important here. So go ahead and put your hand in your head in your hand. Yeah. So typically, and she's doing actually okay, typically people stick their hand right here. And it looks like a phone. Holding a cell phone or whatever. You actually don't want that. So what I usually do is typically if she was being all sexy in bed, she'd be flipping her hair over. Well, we're gonna get it to behave here. I'm gonna your hand, we're gonna pull half the hair up and you're gonna put it kind of in the middle and it's gonna be in the back. And it's not even really that your hand is holding it. It's gonna be kind of back here, yeah. So elbow back. Your hand is not for support so much. Looks like it is. So you keep trying to come here, you're actually gonna come back here with your hand, yep. And what that does is when you move your hand to the back, it also allows her to tilt her head down so that you can get that space right here and make sure she still looks like she has a neck. Because if her hand is over here and pushing her head up and she's a little bit stiff at all, you're gonna lose this neck space. So if she pulls her hand around kind of to the back and tilts her head out a little, and then you're gonna tilt your chin around this way, yeah. Then you're starting to see this space here. And then the bottom leg goes straight. The bottom leg.
Oh, bottom leg.
No,
bottom leg.
Yep,
straight.
there you go. And the front one, the knee's gonna come forward, yep. And you're gonna tuck your toes behind your bottom knee. And usually this hand can go here, you guys can do it there, or I do it like typically here and have you relax this. Yep, elbow down. Pull this down just a little bit. Okay, so chin's gonna come out. So push your chin back like you had it. You'll keep your head there, push your chin back. Okay, so you guys can see this. This is where we naturally keep our face. Like that's just normal, but it's giving this extra skin. So anytime you're shooting, it's gonna be uncomfortable for the client, but they're gonna learn by the end of the shoot. Your chin comes out and it feels a little bit awkward. So a lot of people will try to do this, but it's really you're pushing out from the back of the neck and then down and just tilting. So it's really awkward, but if you can kind of show them, they kind of get a little bit of an idea. So instead of down, it's out and then tilted. Yep. So that's what you don't want. So tilt out, yeah. And then you tilt almost like the top of your head. And I usually, the other reason I put your hand in between the hair is because then I have a little bit of hair right here. Cover up the armpit. And I kind of disguise the arm just a little bit, typically, just because you don't want to see a whole bunch of arm. If they have short hair, well, I mean, my short hair, or like typically, yeah, short as my hair, I mean, you still put your hand kind of back there. If they have like here, you'll kind of do the same. I mean, obviously you can't or anything like that. You just kind of have to work with what you have, but it'll still look the same. You know, they'll give the same effect. You're just not going to be able to cover an armpit. And a lot of times you really have to remind clients over and over again. You'll get them positioned in like most of it, and then as soon as you make a move, they tend to tense up everything else. You just go back through and just, okay, relax the shoulder. And it's always in this pose, this comes up, the elbow comes up. But if you can relax that elbow down, it creates a nice dip and a nice like curve. Yes, thank you. Now, if you have a plus size client and their stomach is not like their favorite, I would use a corset or like a bodysuit in this position specifically, and sheer that's going to kind of keep it there, but also be kind of still sexy. You can still do this, yeah. And I would definitely do a plus size client's arm back like this. If you do a plus size client's arm here, you can see how that breaks up this line. Whereas if you move it here, it creates that kind of dip and curve. It's almost more like an hourglass where it's taller here, comes in at the waist and goes a little bit bigger at the hip area. So I typically always have the lighting source on my client's face. So you will notice that I have her head toward this end of the room where the light is. And also when she turns and looks at me, the window light is actually capturing the light in her eyes. And it gives that great, like, basically just lightens them up and gives that catch light. That's what I was trying to think of. It gives a catch light right in her eyes and it's really beautiful. That's the only source other than I have a reflector. Christina can kind of show you. It's just a simple piece of insulation that I got at Home Depot or Lowe's called Insul Foam, I guess. It's like 20 bucks and I love it. The other side is a foil, like a silver, but I don't usually use it because it's too harsh of a light. It's like, I don't know, it's just too shiny. Whereas this side is very soft and it just will fill in any shadows. Push that chin up a little. Yeah, there we go. A little smirk. You're going to be on your back, feet that way. Okay, lift your head again. It's a headboard that we made and is not part of the bed. It's hung on the wall. So we can actually move the bed out, and I do that in some of my shoots. I'll move it over here into this corner where the light is. So it's just something that Damon and I made. Okay, so this hand, this is typically your hand that's going to have the ring on it. I usually have it kind of right here. You're going to pull your elbow in just a little. It's almost like she's kind of playing with her hair. So you want the hand to look very natural. This is one of the hardest things to do when you're posing, is have their hands look natural. And the easiest way to do that is to do something that makes their hand relaxed. So if she was playing with her hair, I just say play with your hair a little bit and then relax your hand. That looks natural. This one, we're gonna get a little spicy. We're gonna cross this, your right leg over your left knee, and we're gonna toe to the bed. Yep. So do it flat. So you guys can kind of see how it does. A lot of clients too, they'll lean over and they'll kind of like put their foot really flat to the bed. And it just kind of doesn't look very great. Or watch if she points her toe and lifts her heel, like a dancer toe. It creates an elongation of her leg. It makes it even longer, but it also is very pretty. And you can relax your foot for a second so you don't get a cramp. Mm-hmm. I can't even do that. Like every time I try to toe point, I get a cramp. So I just torture my clients. So next we're gonna take her thumb and we're gonna put it right here as if you're kind of pulling down. Yeah, exactly. So this is, especially if you're doing it as a gift, it's a little bit, you know, risque, kind of a little seductive, but still very pretty. So I'm gonna make sure that her head is in line with her neck. Because a lot of times when the clients lay down, their head will be over here and it almost looks like it's broken. So you want to make sure your client's neck does not look broken. So in line, and then I'm going to have you tilt your face this way. And then your chin's going to come up. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to get in there and move your client. She's going to be way happier if her picture looks amazing and you went in there and just kind of helped her than if you're not hands-on. So if you're a male photographer and you're doing boudoir, this is really important that you have a female assistant that can go in and fix bra straps and fix boobs and fix garter belts and move her. That way she's not feeling, you know, uncomfortable with a male touching her while she's in lingerie. Do when the cup of the bra looks empty. So you guys are seeing this. Yeah, this looks a little bit empty. My retoucher, Megan, will fix that.
Yay.
So she's great at that, and she teaches how to do that in the retouching masterclass if you guys are interested. But yes, I don't do much. The other thing that you can do is they do have little inserts that you can put in underneath right here. And what happens is when you put an insert under the bra, it pushes the boob. If I can get hers to push up, yeah. It typically will push it up and fill it so it looks more like that. So if you have like a little insert, you can definitely do that. They make little gel ones and things like that. But that's not too bad, actually. I've had a lot worse. And it's not, yeah, I just don't worry about it too much because I know my retoucher can fix it. I'll do as much as I can. I have when I do my shoots, here, I'll repeat the question. When do you decide to change outfits? I typically do about 10 different like poses / shots. Well, I should say for each pose, I usually take about 10 to 15 shots, but about 10 poses per outfit. And then I'll switch. But I have a game plan. Like I usually, while the client's in hair and makeup, I'll look at what outfits she brought, and I'll look at her secret Pinterest board, and I'll look at my top 20 poses, and I'll create a pose flow on a Pinterest board that I can follow during the shoot, and that I can also show the client, hey, we're going to try this next, we're going to try this next, so that they can see it. So chin up just a little bit, yeah. And then once again, eyes down, mouth slightly open, just enough to breathe. When the mouth is closed, it's almost more like rigid looking. Now open it. It is the craziest difference in how a picture feels when they open their mouth just enough to breathe. It just gives it almost like a soft gasp. I would use the same pose for for a curvy woman. These poses are great when they're laying on their back because it flattens out their stomach, and their stomach away from the camera. I'm going to be focusing up here on her head and her face, and that back there is going to kind of disappear. And it's also by pointing that toe and having this, we're also, if you guys notice, by having her cross her legs, we're creating that triangle again. We're creating that narrowing point. And then what we're doing further is by pointing that toe, we're elongating her. So she looks very long, and that's going to be very slimming. Perfect. Yep, pointing that toe, perfect. And I'm gonna go right here on this wall. Your booty is gonna go kind of back like this. Okay. And actually it's your right leg is gonna be forward. So I'm gonna let you get there.
Booty.
Mm-hmm.
Wall.
Yep, scoot just a little bit this way. Yep, exactly. So your right foot is gonna go forward. Point that toe, yeah, there we go. And you're gonna tilt your hips out just a little bit because I wanna see this here. Let's see, this hand's just gonna hide away. And this hand's just gonna be right here. You're gonna just like, almost like you're kind of holding your hair, like playing with it. Yep, exactly like that. And what I want you to do is keep everything the same, but I want you to push that chin out a little bit and then down a little. Yeah, and tilt a little bit around, yeah. Just take that chin out again. And then tilt, yeah, right there, perfect. So you guys can see the difference. Go back kind of where you were, where your head's back. You can see where her jawline starts to disappear because her head's back. So lean it a little bit forward. Yep, exactly. And now you can watch her jawline come out, and it looks a lot more attractive than us having like double chins.
Double chins are not cute.
Yeah. And then what I'm gonna have you do is pull this elbow forward just a little bit. And you can leave it here, but I actually might even, because in the picture, I think in the pose, I have her almost like pulling down her shirt. But like, let's say you're doing it in a bra and panty set, I would actually kind of maybe have her thumb under her bra strap and kind of almost turn her hand out just a little bit. Because otherwise it kind of has this weird like wrist there. And then it still kind of looks like she's holding her hair. And then elbow forward a little bit. But when it's here, there's like a block. She looks like kind of a square, but when you come here, you get this angle of her waist and then her booty. So you get those curves that you really, really want. And once again, I have her facing the light. And I'm gonna shut this door just a little bit so I don't get it in the background. Relax that shoulder down. Yeah. So elbow comes forward. Can you relax the shoulder but pull the elbow forward? Yeah. And there you go. Beautiful, just like that. And just barely tilt that hip out towards me. And take that right knee and lean it across. So by bringing up your shoulder, you just create a little bit more of a subduction. So put it down and then tilt your head towards me. So she's looking at me here. Now I want you to bring your shoulder up and give me a little smirk. You guys watch the difference between that. Do it again. Yeah. Actually, another way you can do that too is thumb. I'm gonna give you guys just some other options. Is you can kind of be pulling down and you're actually gonna go straight. So you still arm forward just a little bit. You're gonna want her to come forward a little bit so you still see that curve, and then you can bring that shoulder up. And this is an instance where I wouldn't worry too much that arm is against her body. I would probably slim it up a little bit in Photoshop just to get the pose that I want. I understand that I'm doing something that is not the most, go ahead and straighten it. I'm just flipping your hands. Oh. Yeah. I understand that I'm not doing this something that's the most flattering for her by squeezing that. So in Photoshop, I would just slim it up just a little bit. Right here, you're gonna be on your back, feet that way. Okay, I'm gonna have you scoot towards the headboard. And then I'm gonna have you scoot a little bit more. And I'm gonna have you scoot your booty to your left. I always have to check. I'm like, okay, wait, yes, that is still, it's still her left. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, it's my left, not your left. And then I'm gonna have this hand. It's just gonna go around your thumb. Okay, cross your right over your left knee. Yep, like we did earlier. Yep, a toe point. Anytime I can create that narrowing point, it's the best. So actually scoot your booty a little bit to your right. A little bit more. And your shoulders a tiny bit to the left. Yep. There we go. So this hand is gonna kind of come down here. And a lot of people want to hold it like this. You want to flip the wrist. It's very uncomfortable for the client to do it this way. It's just not natural, but it just looks good. So you just, go ahead. Where did you get the pose? Oh gosh. Good question. I have no idea. It's been, I mean, I've been doing this for 8 years. I have no idea where I got them, but like you could probably find them at places like, yeah, I know, but people don't have Hottie World, most likely. I was thinking, what's the jewelry store that girl, yeah, Charming Charlie's, yes, great one. Claire's, that's the one I was thinking of where girls go get their ears pierced when they're young. Claire's, or there's another one. What's the other one that's like Claire's? Gosh, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue. But yes, Charming Charlie's would actually be great. I think those are those nationwide? Or Amazon? I'm sure Amazon probably has some. As you guys can tell, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, not saying I don't ever miss anything, but I spend time because you don't want to fix it in Photoshop if you don't have to. There are some things that I will, but I try to pay attention to the details because the details are what actually really matter. It's those little things that your eye doesn't naturally like. You wouldn't probably notice it, but when it's fixed, it's just more pleasing to the eye. Chin up just a little bit more. So I'm going to tilt it kind of like right about there. Perfect. And so in this picture, I'm getting just kind of very, I'll do some with her eyes in it, but if you guys look at pose, which one are we doing? Pose 13. It's just kind of like the bottom of the mouth and down. But I'll do some with eyes down, eyes looking, and then crop in a little bit closer to the mouth as well. So this as well, you'll point your toe. Yep. So here I will focus on the eyelash. And if I can do it, I'll bump up my aperture, f-stop, whatever you guys want to call it. I'm not a photography expert. Ask me photography questions and I'm like, I don't know. I just do what I do. So I know enough to be dangerous. if they're a bride, their ring's going to be right here. So this would be another reason why you would pose her with her left hand holding the pearls, because you want to make sure that the ring is showing. Yep, tilt your face. Yeah, you're right. Tilt your face towards me just a little bit. Yeah, chin up. Perfect. Yep, and mouth is open just slightly enough to breathe, and eyes are down. This is once again one of my most requested shots, especially for brides, because it's really pretty, and too for women who kind of want to get a little, I don't want to say risque, but they don't want to quite do handcuffs. When you kind of wrap the pearls around their wrists as if they're tied up, it gives it kind of a more soft but like sexy look. But I won't have a bra on in this shot, because anytime you put a bra on and you take a back shot, it breaks up their lines. So it breaks up that length, and anytime you can create more length, you create more, make them slimmer, and it's just much more pleasing to the eye. So I'm gonna have you cross at your ankles. So try the other way. See which way is more comfortable for you. Yep, and you're gonna straighten your knees. So what happens when she bends her knees a little bit? So you see what happens when she bends her knees, her boot goes into her leg. So straighten your knee. When she straightens it, it activates those glutes and gives her a more round booty on both sides, and it just makes it look a little bit more round and lifted. So it's like best posing tricks you can do. Okay, I'm gonna have you, I should say it's posing secret. Okay, put your hands behind your back. Yep. And then I never get this right on the first try, but we're just, yes, I always like wrap and rewrap until I like it. So let's just hope it looks pretty good for this. And have her curl her fingers kind of up a little. And then you want your, nope, keep going back. You want your elbows kind of out. So you're gonna relax it down a little bit, but keep the elbows out. So what you do is you don't want her arms to be in. You want to be able to see this shape right here. Because once again, put your arms in, like straight. If you do this, you can see how she looks like a rectangle. If you need to turn a little bit, she looks more like a rectangle. Now pull your hands up just a little bit and put your elbows out. When she does that, then you can see her shape and her curves. So you're gonna lift those fingers kind of back up. And this time too, if she has a ring on, I'll usually kind of make sure that it's showing, especially if it's a gift or a bride. And then I'll just mess around until I like how it looks. You're gonna tilt your hips just a little bit this way. And then right here, I usually put my feet right in their hip bone and push your booty out. Yeah, and you don't want them necessarily to lean forward. Let's see if I can show you guys. You don't want them to lean forward, because then it looks like they're sticking their butt out. You want them almost just to hinge, like right there. Here, I'm actually focusing on the pearls right about here, or her fingers. And I have it on ISO 800, 200, shutter speed, and 3.5. So if she had a ring on, I might be focusing on the ring for a couple of them. Skin is like indented from the pearls. But if you have a really good retoucher, you know how to retouch skin really well, that's not too big of a deal. If they had jeans on, or they had socks on when they came in and they have those little lines, or they get a bra, like a bra strap line from it just being so tight, knowing how to like effectively like remove those types of lines without, you know, messing up the integrity of the skin is like really important. That's a way you can really step up your game as a photographer, is retouching. Takes you from amateur to professional really fast if you really know how to finalize your art. Let her go change. Okay, you're good. Go change into the black outfit. And then I will always help my clients put on their stockings and their garter belts, because it's just, I'll actually want to line them up, make sure the lines in the top are like on the inside of the legs, or they're on the back. And also it's just, most clients, I mean, how are you even supposed to like do your garters in the back? I tell my clients, I'm like, you need a lady in waiting. So I have become an expert at doing garter belts. But I just let them do that and let them get pampered, because if they don't have to do it and they just get help with it, they feel a lot more relaxed and they're not freaking out because they can't do it. Typically, my session fee includes 2 different outfit changes, or 2 different looks, if you will. And then if they want to add on more outfit changes, then they can add that on. Or if they do my customer favorite package, I believe I have 3 or 4 outfit changes with that. My typical session is probably around 4 hours. And that's from start to finish. That's like hair and makeup. I do hair and makeup separately. So a lot of people will do hair and makeup together and it will take less time. Hair and makeup usually takes about 2 hours. So then I'm usually shooting for an average of 2 hours. And I just take my time with my clients. I don't rush them. A lot of times, especially since they're everyday women who are nervous, sometimes it takes women, 20 minutes to get into where I really feel like they're getting great pictures. And I don't want to rush them, because then they feel even more uncomfortable. So we just take our time. If they need to, a bathroom break or get a drink of water, or, we just kind of play around, and I try not to make it too high stress or rushed. Okay, now I'm going to have you stand up. Put this on.
Can we turn?
Yep. I had to grab the other side first. So I'm going to have you turn around. Booty towards me. So a lot of times when women put on their panties, they typically put them on and they're down here. I always, when they come out, I give them a wedgie, because anytime that you can kind of lift that, it just makes it look better. So I come down and I'll make sure that the stockings are straight. Just relax your leg. Yep, there we go. Especially like this part right here for guys, if you're like a male boudoir photographer, once again, I'm going to reiterate that having a female assistant is just imperative, in my opinion. Models, if you're used to shooting models and you're trying to turn your business into more profitable, models don't typically pay that much. But if you're looking to make profit from boudoir, and the people who pay are women who are doing this as a gift or for themselves. Most models can go get a shoot for free from anybody who's practicing. So you want to make sure that when you're doing everyday women, you take into consideration they're not used to losing all their clothes in front of a photographer. Most of the time, women come in and they're like, make me flawless. And I tell them, look, I will make you flawless between posing and outfits and lighting. I will do some retouching, but in general, we're going to keep the integrity of your skin. I don't want you to look plastic. And I have a very it took me a little while to find the perfect retouching workflow and how I like it to look smooth and pretty, but not overdone. So I think it's really important to find that balance between the two. Okay, I'm gonna have you turn towards me. Where can you get these knee-high stockings? You can look on Amazon. What's funny is that Victoria's Secret is not carrying them very many anymore. And it's frustrating because I'm like, you're Victoria's Secret. But you can get them on Amazon. You could probably get them at Dillard's. Anywhere that has lingerie typically has them. There's a couple of companies that specialize just in having knee highs. I know I've gotten emails on people who do it a monthly subscription where you get some new fun ones. And that might be great for a boudoir photographer if you're constantly going through them and having them on hand. I think these were actually a client wore them once and left them behind. I think she got them at Nordstrom's. I make sure that they're in line on both sides and that these kind of look straight, and then turn. And then I'll just have her turn. And then so I can see that they're straight on here. That way that one's not down here and one's not higher. That's another one of those details that I look for. So your head's gonna be here. Your feet are gonna be that way on your back. And once again, we're crossing this right over this left.
Right? No.
Yep, I was gonna say, wait, am I telling you right? Right over the left, and creating that triangle. You guys can see, if you see it in the pose, I can show you if you don't have it. Creating that triangle. It's a little bit more from the side, but I'm gonna have you just a tad. and scoot your booty just a little bit right. Yep, so just a little bit of an angle. So here, if you can see, there's an arch in her back. So let me get her posed, and then if we need to, I will show you how to, go ahead and lay your head down. I will show you guys how to create that arch if the client can't quite do it. And sometimes with your curvier models, you definitely have a hard time getting them to create that arch. Hand here, other hand's gonna come up. Chin's gonna come way up. Sometimes clients will come in like this, and this is how they're gonna cross. Now slide that left foot out. Keep going. So what happens when she slides that foot out, it creates more length. And it, like, the more length that you can get, the better. And point that toe. Yeah. So you guys see the difference. Pull all the way up. There's this where she's almost kind of like squashed. Now slide your leg out. Yeah. Now you see how she lengthens. So that's really, really important. So for this specific pose, I get up just a little bit on a step stool so I can get a little bit higher. Face a little bit toward, yeah, there we go. And then eyes up, just towards me. Yep, at me, yeah, perfect. A little smirk. Bring that right arm down just a little bit. Yeah, and bring your left one in just a little. Yeah, perfect. Chin up just a tad. Chin up just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so arching, yeah, pushing the boobies up. You're already doing it. I did not address that. But if you guys can't get your client to arch that much, so I'll take a small hand towel and I'll roll it, and then I'll slide it up under the blanket, right up under your shoulder blades. And then that will help her lift up. And if it's like a curvier client, you might have to have a little bit of a bigger towel, but what that does is it just kind of helps her hold that, especially if it's really hard to hold that for very long. So you can kind of see how she's a little bit higher. And then when I pull it out, sink down, yeah. Then the curve kind of disappears. So that's an easy trick that you can get to help them arch just a little bit more if they're not able to. And here too, like while she's here, I'll have say eyes down, keep your chin up, but eyes down, and I'll just take a couple of other shots. And then eyes up at me. Beautiful. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a bonus. This is not in the top 20 poses, but from here, this is another pose flow that I do. Typically, they'll have a bra strap on. And what I'll do is I'll take her thumb and I'll put it in the bra strap. And I'll pull this here. And I'll have her flip her hand out like that. Face this way. And then bring your chin up. And then your chin down and your shoulder. Like, yeah. But anyways, this is like another added shot that I would do in this pose. And I might just choose this one over maybe one of the other ones I've done. And I had this question before, and she's totally normal. But they're like, what do you do when your client keeps wrinkling her head? It's just a natural thing. Like I even have lines on my forehead because I naturally keep my eyebrows up. But you just have to keep reminding them to relax it. And especially one of the things that's like a secret to getting like a sexy face, if you will, or like body language. So I can look at you like this, or I can look at you like this, and it's a little bit more seductive. So if I'm here, or I'm here, so there's a difference in where your eyes are. But a lot of times when clients chins down and their shoulders up and they're having to look up, they tend to raise their eyebrows so that they can see, because it's just naturally what they do. So you just have to get them to relax. And sometimes through the whole shoot, you have to just keep saying over and over, relax the eyebrows, relax the eyebrows, relax the eyebrows. And if clients are gonna be fine. You just say, hey, I have clients all the time. You're not the first person to do this. It helps them relax, and not like calling them out and making them feel uncomfortable, but just saying, okay, relax your eyebrows, and laugh about it. Okay, so next pose, we're actually gonna just have her slide. Your head's gonna be hanging off the edge of the bed right here. Yep. Perfect, and I'm actually gonna have you scoot a little bit this way. do I consider doing more laughy, smiley poses versus like sexy poses? Here's my take on it, and you guys can take away whatever you want. If someone's coming in to do a boudoir shoot, they're coming in to feel sexy and be sexy, and most of the time they don't know how to do that. So I do a lot more seductive, sexy looks, but I will throw in some smiling and some laughing because women typically love that. And I think when they're laughing, they just let all of their inner guards down and their real inner beauty tends to shine. So I do some, but the problem is a lot of times when you're doing laughing and smiley poses, it looks more like a portrait, or let me just go even like a senior portrait or a family shot or a headshot. Typically people coming in to do boudoir aren't coming in to get a headshot. They're coming in to get that, you know, seductive look that they don't really feel on the inside. And so yes, smiling ones always sell, and I always say have a few in there. Pose 3 that we did, I did some smiling of her laughing. And as we go through, I don't think any of my top, we'll do a smirk one and pose 20, but I don't think any of the top 20 ones, I really have a lot of laughing, just because I really think they come in and they want specifically more seductive and sexy. But yes, throw some in there for sure. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so scoot off the bed just a little bit for me. Yeah, because you're going to want to be able to push that chin way up. And once again, you're going to cross your right over your left. You're going to point that toe. And you guys can see her leg is already, her left leg foot is already out. So she's getting that elongation. And then her right hand is going to come and you're going to grab a little bit of your hair and kind of pull it up a little bit. And then the elbow is going to come in. Yep, chin's up. You're going to lean your face a little bit this way. Now you guys can see where the lighting source is. It's on this side. It gives a little bit of a shadow on her face, but it looks sexy. This is the time where I actually would keep the shadow just because it makes it look a little bit more seductive. And I don't know why I think that, I do. If it's too much light, it doesn't give it quite the same feel. So, and then on your other hand, typically this is also the hand that has the ring. So you're gonna want to just real lightly on your neck and you're gonna tilt. So she's keeping her elbow in real close. She's not doing that. You wanna keep it real close. And then a lot of people do this. You wanna tilt that wrist and just hands are like as if you're slightly rubbing your neck, like real slow. Tilt your face in a little bit more and keep that elbow in. Eyes are closed. This is probably one where I actually say closed because sometimes their eyelids like to flutter open a little bit if I say look down, and then they kind of look like they have evil eyes. So you don't want that. Let's see the ring, and typically I would have them wear studs. We just missed that for the class, but this is the only time typically you usually see their hair or their ears anyways, because their hair is usually in the way. So I don't really worry about ears too much. And sometimes I'll give you a little trick because we laugh about it. I tell my clients, this is the pose where you kind of arch up through the boobs, your chin goes up, and you kind of pretend somebody's between your legs. And that mouth comes open and there's a little gasp going on and they laugh about it and then they get the pose perfect. Eyes closed, yep, mouth open just slightly more. Tilt that face to your right a little bit. Yep, there we go. Mouth open a little bit more. So the next one I'm going to do is we're going to stay right here. Go ahead and keep your hand, pulling up the hair a little bit. And then I'm going to slide this hand down. And we're going to tilt the face this way. Come with your elbow. Chin's going to keep coming up. Toes pointed. This is where the one I'm going to back out the door and I'm going to get a full length. So this would be pose 7. Okay, eyes closed, mouth open. Yep, you got that toe point, perfect. Mouth slightly open a little bit more. Mouth open a little bit more, a little bit more. Yep, there you go. I know it feels weird.
It's weird.
Yeah. So just drop that chin open just a little bit. Stick your tongue behind your teeth and relax that chin open. Yeah, there you go. We're gonna do the silhouette. And it's gonna be right here. So I just move, I told you guys about this. It's just like a white shower panel I get at Lowe's. It's like 25 bucks, but it's great to cover carpet, and it also acts as an additional reflector for the light. So in this situation, you're gonna put your right foot on the wood.
Right foot on the wood.
And the reason I have you do that is because my retoucher is gonna come through and fix that strip of carpet so you won't see it.
Okay.
And this is kind of what we're doing. So,
Check.
Booty goes back just slightly to touch. You don't want to rest it too much, and you're going to tilt your hip out just a little bit so I can see the curve of your booty. Left foot goes up on the wood, and don't worry about scratching it. Just whatever helps you stay, you do that. I can touch up the wood. No big deal. I'd much rather you be semi-comfortable, although this is not good. This is one of the harder ones. So your hands are going to reach up over your head. You're going to grab the door frame.
Well, that's easier. Balance.
Yep. And you're going to look way up. So by looking up, this is going to drop her hair down a little bit and kind of have it hanging like right there. And you're going to push your booty back just a little bit. Exactly. Great. It's fantastic. So from here, we're going to go to pose 10. So we're going to go out into the main area. So your head is going to be right here, and you're going to be on your back, laying that way, with your feet that way. If you need help, let me know. And come a little bit this way, so you're not quite so much in the sun. Yep. So one of the things that I've noticed doing this shot, if they have some hair, you really want to make sure that you fluff it out here, because oftentimes if it looks like this, they look like they have no hair. So you want to make sure you kind of fluff it. So I'm going to have this leg, the one closest to the camera, is going to come in closer, and then this one's going to come out further. You can kind of lean it in just a little bit. You guys can spend time tucking these if you want. Make them look a little bit better. Okay.
Clean lines.
Yeah, this hand's gonna come up here, like you're playing with your hair again. Yeah, like we normally do. And then this hand's gonna come in your hair. Yep, right there, and you're gonna kind of pull up just like that. Because we wanna make sure that there's light coming through right here so we see the profile of her face, like through here. Because if she has her elbow like down like that, you can kind of see how it blocks it versus coming up here. Next, we're gonna arch right through here, her shoulder blades, and or her, I guess, the back of her shoulder blades. You're gonna wanna, if you need more help, you can shimmy your shoulder blades down a little bit. Yeah, and that will help give that arch. And then chin's gonna go up as high as you can get it. Like this is, once again, that very seductive where your boobs are up, your chin's up, your eyes closed. And yes, you can go up on your head if you want, but it's not necessary because you're doing a great job at arching. Eyes are gonna be closed, mouth's gonna be open. It's almost kind of like that gasp again, where it feels weird to open your mouth that much. But yeah, chin up, and then you're gonna want to kind of like point that toe up, yeah. Maybe not quite so much, yeah, there we go, just so it's not all the way in there. Now let me get back and see how that looks. Because sometimes I'll get them posed and then I'll scoot back and then I'll adjust because it's hard to see the big picture. I'm going to loosen this just a little bit so it's not quite so tight. And I guess you guys will probably notice she has a little bit of, skin that's kind of hanging down right here. This is very easily fixed in Photoshop, and I'll just kind of pull it up just a little bit so she gets a cleaner arch. The thing I feel like with boudoir is, and retouching, is you want the client to see past anything that might catch her eye and make her feel less than beautiful. And you really want to just show her how amazing she is. And as women, we tend to pick ourselves apart, like constantly. So any little tiny little fixes that I can do that will help her see past what she might get stuck on about herself and really see how beautiful she is from the inside out is something that I would consider doing in Photoshop. You may have a different take on that, and that's totally fine. But to be honest with you, as a professional, women come to you because you're a professional photographer. If they wanted pictures where all their flaws showed, they would just have their girlfriend or their husband take them. Chin up a little bit more. Mouth open just a little bit more. Perfect. Chin up more. Yep, there we go. I know it's uncomfortable. So in this next one, pose 9, you guys see that she has like a bodysuit kind of on in this shot. Typically what I do now is I usually have the garter belt and the panties, and I will take the bra off. I'm going to show them the difference. Okay. So come over here. You're going to walk towards that window, kind of right in the middle. You're going to cross the ankles again. And straighten the legs. Turn just a little. Maybe put your feet a little bit closer together. Yeah, there we go. That helps. So hands are going to go kind of up in your hair, like kind of holding it. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. Elbows out. So you guys can kind of see how that is. And I want to show you the difference. I'll fix this. Sorry.
You're okay.
Get you off balance there.
I'm off balance normally.
So you guys can kind of see that's still a really sexy shot, but what I've found is, okay, release your hands. If you guys see the difference, now she's not, there's no like line breaking up her back, so it tends to make her look a lot longer and gives her a lot more length. I will actually point out as well, a lot of times when your clients go and get fitted for a garter belt, it is typically the fashion to wear the garter belt up higher. Now this really works with models who have really long torsos and it looks great, like Victoria's Secret models and stuff like that. But when you have a shorter torso or you're just not very tall, you don't want to have that line that breaks it up. You want to push it down. I always have my clients pull it down here. So if you're going to, in the consultation, you actually might want to tell them if they're going to find a garter belt or if that's the look that they're looking for, to make sure when they buy it, it doesn't just fit here, but it will fit also down here. Because a lot of times I've had a couple of clients who will buy it because I forgot to tell them, and they'll buy it here and it only fits there. Like it fits tight right there, but they can't move it down. So this definitely helps give you a lot more length and helps her look a lot more tall. And anytime you can lengthen legs, which obviously the heels, and anytime you can lengthen anything and create triangles, you're going to create a slimmer look. And that's an easy way to make your client lose 5 to 10 pounds.
Well,
just
nice.
Yeah, exactly, right? Just by pulling out those lines that are breaking her up and by elongating. So heels, you know, pointing the toe and then taking bras off when you're doing back shots. So now that I've made you stand there for forever, I'm going to have you put, so in this case too, I would probably have her like show her ring if she had it. And you can do this shot, or let's relax your hands. What I actually have, okay, pull your left arm up and kind of hold this. Now turn your head to your right a little bit more, and you're going to kind of twist just a little bit. And this hand is going to go kind of like right here, but you don't want to rest the palm of your hand on your forehead. A lot of people will want to do this. You want to keep that hand kind of up. Yep. And you're going to look kind of down behind you, like right down here. So now you guys can see, I'm going to have to back out to get the full length shot. This is probably when a 35 millimeter would be good. So in this shot, I focus right on the edge of the lace of the panty. I'll either focus like right, you can take a break if you need to. I'll focus like right here on the edge, or I'll focus on like this like little buckle right here. So I'm going to give you guys a couple bonus shots here. So in this situation, when she's here, I'll come in and I'll do a shot, just a butt shot this way. And then I will come from the side and get a little side boob and booty. So I'll come from this direction as well. And I crop it about like here to about like right here. And then booty shot is usually like just right there. I'm gonna have you tilt your head just a little bit this way. That's where the ab workout comes in. And then you're going to face the headboard on your left side. Come towards me so your heels are on the bed. Perfect. And this hand's going to come back here, and we're going to kind of put it underneath so we don't see your hand. So you're going to loosen this. Yep, there you go. Now you're getting straight. So you guys can kind of see that this leg comes forward. So what I always do is I take it, put this forward a little bit. I take this knee and I kind of push back. Because the difference in if her leg is forward, then her booty kind of goes right into her leg. So if you push it back, it creates that like curve and that roundness for her booty, which you want. You don't want one butt cheek. No. You want two. So this knee is going to come forward. You're going to, yep, just like that. And then here, I'll just make sure this looks good here. And you might have to loosen this a little bit because you're causing her to have to stretch. So I point this toe. And push this back just a little bit more. Yep. And then secret, let me show you. You guys can see all this, right? So this arm is going to come forward. You're going to look right here. So this arm is going to come forward, and what happens is that relaxes this and gets rid of any like lines right here. Some curvier clients might still have a line, but that's okay. At least it evens it out a little bit more, and you don't have that kind of like skin crease as much. I'll come in and kind of make sure the lines are pretty good. Okay, so booty kind of goes out, arch booty out. Yep. And I'm gonna have you scoot your shoulders back just a tad. Yep, there we go. So we have this nice kind of line right here. Yep, keep it straight, perfect. Okay, hand in there. So I'm gonna take this full length shot of her back. And like I said, as with all the other poses, this is seriously one of their favorites. And it's so great for women of any size or shape because how you have them positioned, it really gives them an hourglass shape. And if they have, you know, uncomfortable with their stomach, or they've had kids and they're just like, I don't want to show my stomach, this is a great way to get a really amazing shot and their stomach's not even in it. And if they're doing it as a gift, most guys are like booty guys. They love those booty shots. Pretty sure I have a couple of clients who have this in a canvas above their bed in their bedroom. So I actually get really low, almost equal to the bed for this shot instead of taking it from above. And I've just found that if you get a little bit lower, it's just really long. And it's really just, I don't know, I guess I like it better that way. I just never really noticed that I do that until I was doing it. I thought I should just share with you guys where I go, like where I shoot from. Okay, so what do I do while clients are getting their hair and makeup done? So typically I will go through their outfits that they bring and I will see which ones that I want to shoot. Because sometimes clients will bring more than they are going to shoot and they just want me to help them pick them out. So I'll go through, pick them out, make sure all the tags are cut out of them. I'll make sure that there's no stickers on the bottom of shoes. I will use a lint roller on anything if needed. And then I will just sit down, and that's usually when I do my pose flow on a secret Pinterest board. I'll look at their secret Pinterest board, see kind of what they're wanting, know what outfits that they brought now. So I can go in and create a pose flow based on which order I'm going to do poses and in what outfits. So it just helps me streamline the process. And then also I'll sit with them at hair and makeup and, you know, talk to them as well. So that just helps them, you know, I have a hair and makeup artists that are really great. This is something important when you're choosing them, that are really great at conversation and making the client feel comfortable while I'm off doing things to prep for the shoot. But I definitely try to be in there too, so that I can conversate with them and kind of help them relax. I pulled the extra shears like right through her legs, and then her right foot's out, and her left toe is going to go up her calf and kind of lean away a little bit. And I pull this extra and just kind of fluff it around, not showing too much. And if they have a little bit of stomach, just kind of maybe softly put this right here, but it still shows that curve. And then her other arm is just pressing that extra shear kind of down, so it's not too fluffy on her stomach and doesn't look too big. So it just kind of presses it down. If you guys use the shear and just kind of push it up a little bit, it'll actually slim her arm a little bit. It's just an illusion basically. And putting her hair just a little bit closer right here. You don't want to put it too close, but it will kind of hide right here or an extra roll, which you don't, but we're going to show them anyways. Then eyes down. Mouth slightly open just enough to breathe, chin down just a little bit more. Then I want you to bring your shoulder up and your chin down. And then I want you to, chin down a little bit more. There you go. And then eyes up at me and a little smirk. So as you guys can see, I'll do eyes at me, I'll do eyes down, and one of the ones I don't have in there, I'll have to include in the next Pose Guide 2.0, is I'll actually come and take one this way. So with her head down, sorry, I'm like breathing hard. Just right there, focused on the eyelash, and I fill this one every time as well. I did. If you guys missed it, I put the shears, a couple of shears on the bed, and I made them look like messy sheets. That just gives it a lot softer look, if you will. And obviously, when you want to push just a little bit to slim down the arm or something like that, you can even kind of push them up right here and create an even more slimming effect, because less skin shows. So it makes her look even skinnier. So it's an easy way to slim up your client. So we're going to come up. All your weight's going to be on this arm.
Okay.
So yeah, exactly. So this hand just relaxes. And then this elbow is going to come back a little bit back here. And then hand, you just kind of want to like, loose. Perfect. And then you're going to look back this way. And this is like really uncomfortable. This is where I'll like flip their hair over. Make sure to cover their ear. You don't really want their ear to be like front and center. So this is really weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Your top of your head's going to come. Yeah, and it's almost kind of like you're just peering back towards the door, and I'm going to come that way and shoot from there. Then I want you to bring that shoulder forward and then chin down. So relax it a little bit, chin comes down. Yeah, there we go. Eyes at me. Then eyes down. So this hand can either go like right here, and she can kind of twist her wrist as if she's kind of pulling it up real like seductively. Or you can have her hand come up right here, just kind of real relaxed like that. So chin up just a little bit, yeah. I like how you're looking that way, but just chin up a little. You guys, when you're doing a laying pose and you're taking it from above, you always make sure you lift that chin. So push the chin down. When you take that, you lose her chin. And Rose is a really great makeup artist, so she's done some contouring along her chin line. But typically if you're down and you're taking it from down lower for me, if you're taking the shot like right there, you can see the difference between, okay, lift your chin up. And then come up just a little bit. Come up about right there. Yeah, okay, chin down. Okay, and then chin up. And then come this way a little bit. Yeah, you guys can see the difference. Perfect. I'm gonna have you do this. Just grab that right there and just kind of twist that wrist up. And then I'll just kind of like tuck it in a little bit so it's not sticking out. Relax. And then chin up. Tilt a little bit right there. Perfect. Chin a little bit to your right. Yeah, there we go. Eyes down. So I want your hand to be real loose here. Clench it. You guys watch how if she's clenching versus relax it out, the difference in the body language and what she's telling the person and like that's looking at her or looking at the image is just body language is huge. If you clench and you close yourself off, then you typically look very uptight and like scared, and versus somebody who's very seductive typically is very confident, and you want to come off as confident. See? So this hand, this is what I like to do with this one, thumb, and you're going to slide this kind of like right here. So it's a little bit of a, like, what is she doing down there? This is what I call Playboy centerfold. This is for the guys. Let me get up here and fluff the hair. See what it wants to do with us. This is when I get in and we just get like, fluff it around until we get like bedhead, like I call it freshly fucked hair.
Yeah.
And if there's like flyaways or stuff like that, I don't worry. And just take care of it in post. Perfect hair is not what we're going for. You want to make sure you can kind of see skin on both sides if possible. If they're a little bit curvier, it's okay to kind of cover one side, but you really want to see kind of their waist. Kind of relax, yeah. Just relax, yeah. And you want to see their legs because you want to get that shape. So next, you're going to kind of cock your boot, yep, exactly, to one side. You're going to push your booty back a little bit, yeah. Then you're going to lean towards me slightly. And what happens when people tend to lean towards the camera, it's more inviting, but also what happens is their chin tends to go back, their head tends to go back. So in this situation, you're going to want to push your head forward and down a little bit more, yeah. Eyes down to right here, like down to the side of the bed. Perfect. I see a little bit of hair that's got a little too much zhooshing. So this is a good laughing one right there. You guys can definitely do one where she's laughing. And then come straight on. And then chin out just a little bit and down. So you guys can get a couple of different things, like sit back on your feet, like put your heels up and sit back, yeah. So you guys can have them do that. You can have them look to the side. Exactly, you just move the hair a little bit out. You can have them look straight on, look to the side, and come back at me, like just eyes. A couple different actually options that I would do here. So face that way. Chin out a bit more. Yeah. So I would actually take a shot just like this with her just looking chin just slightly towards me. Like, yeah, I would do that. So I'll give you guys another one I'm doing. I'm just gonna give them like 40 poses, yeah. So you're gonna drop that shoulder down just a little bit and you're gonna look behind you. Like, just a little bit more. Yeah, just like that. Now slightly open, yeah. Okay, then I'm gonna have you do exactly everything the same. Okay. And then you're gonna bring that shoulder up. Chin comes down though. Yeah. That's one of the things to look out for is you kind of almost pull that elbow out. You guys can see the difference, what happens here and here. And typically when clients are trying to really hard to hold a pose, they typically get real like stiff and like come in. So if you feel like they can do that, I would come in and just pull their elbow out just a little bit. But otherwise, I would just kind of slim it up in Photoshop a little bit. And a little smirk. Make sure that toe's up, booty's out. There we go. Chin down a little bit more, a little smart. Yeah, there we go. Next, you're gonna stay exactly the same. We're literally gonna relax the shoulders, roll them back, and you're just gonna let your head hang, and you're gonna look at the ceiling and think of the funniest thing you've ever thought of. Yeah, I do. I want you to really laugh. Yeah. Relax those shoulders so you can kind of, yeah, there we go. Ha ha ha. Oh, gosh, I gotta give him another one really quick. So this hand's just gonna come here. And then I'm gonna block you, so we're gonna drop the sheet.
Okay.
Then you're gonna grab one up here, top. This is gonna come in, so you're gonna kind of cover yourself here.
Okay.
And just tilt the top of your head in. Now you're look at me. So hold right here with your hand, so it kind of covers. Tilt the top of your head in. So
just in.
So it's almost kind of like your.
Just in. Wait, I'm moving my legs now.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you're playing peekaboo. Okay. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Keep that knee forward. And then tilt the top in. There it is. Bonus, guys, another shot. Relax the shoulders just a little. There we go. Chin down just a little bit. Pull come your hand down. Bring your hand down just a little bit further to your, like where it's laying on your chest. Yeah, there we go. Then tilt the head in. Tilt the top of the head in. Just, yeah, there we go. So it's almost like a little bit of a peekaboo. Aw, yay! Great, awesome, guys. Well, if you have questions that come up, feel free to reach out. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed our first live class. Thank you for being so patient through the hiccups and the little bumps. We really appreciate all your love and support, and I love you, and have a good day.